Apparently, there's rules to YouTube. I don't know them yet. I'm just learning them as I go. Um, as I say that and I pause like this, I've learned not a lot. I've learned some stuff. One thing I've learned is that it's probably better to watch me in 1.25 because then I sound like a normal person, like I'm not talking in slow motion. And this will save, is it fair to say this will save 25% of your life? You're welcome. Life hack. Um, buckle up because I have no agenda, no plan. This could be 2 minutes or 2 hours right now. We'll see where it goes. And I don't have any plans. So, um, some of the stuff I've learned though, which is interesting, is that you guys don't like to leave comments on YouTube. You text me and call me and see me in the grocery store and things like that. You don't you don't put the comments. And there was no bad comments either, which all right, whatever. I do look forward to the day when this gets big, and I say when this gets big because now I'm putting it out there that it's going to get big. The only reason I want that is because I want the interaction. Like, how awesome does that sound to be able to have a conversation and get feedback from hundreds of people or thousands of people on a subject, a topic, a question, or whatever, almost like a instant polling, but you get to do all the talking, which I think is awesome. So, but that's all in theory, right? Because I'm not there yet. I've got 57 subscribers now, so it's up like almost 20. I have 58. One of you canceled, which is cool. I don't need you. No, I really don't care. But it would be cool to have to be able to ask questions and get feedback and see if other people think the way I think or if I'm crazy. Like when you go to the grocery store and the French bread is warm, do you eat the whole loaf? Is that just me? I don't know. But I think there's all different themes that I want to do, and maybe like little subject kind of heading kind of thing. So like I'll do like a category on this where I'll talk to strangers or whatever, and another one where I'll do little life hack things like the iPhone dog identifier thing, or whatever. And then, but there's also like things that I've learned or whatever. I'm a teacher, by the way, in my retirement. I don't know if you know that. You don't know that if you don't know me, but I feel like most people watching right now do know me. I'm a substitute teacher. And maybe I'll speak on that for a second. So, why am I a substitute teacher? Well, I mean, a couple of reasons. But first, it was kind of, and I mean this with all the most respect, for real. But I did it kind of as a joke, like to my kids, because I thought, how awesome would it be? We're just finishing up our boat trip. They were getting ready to go back to school. I was trying to sell the boat. I was in South Carolina, Charleston. They were back here at home in Boulder City. And they wanted, so we got off the boat and sold the boat because they wanted to be in real life school with real people and not online on a boat. So after a year doing that, I'm like, all right, what am I gonna do? And then whatever, I'm like, I've always thought it'd be cool to be a teacher. And I always kind of thought college level, like teaching business or something like that would really be awesome. And I still might do that. And this is another theme, random, tangent, I guess I should say. But in most of the videos, I'm saying what I'm gonna do, so I have to do it. So I'll just say right now, I'm gonna be a college professor at some point, or teacher, I should say. I don't know the difference. But anyhow, here's why this started, was because I thought, how funny would it be that if I take the kids to school, because they're freshmen in high school, they don't have their driver's license at this time, they're both driving now. And if I were to drop them off, but instead I go park the car and I get out, and they're like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I just say, "Oh, don't worry about it." And I just walk inside, and I go, and they go to class, and then they show up in class, and it's surprise, I'm your teacher. I thought that'd be pretty funny. Um, I couldn't hold a secret. I'm terrible at holding secrets, so so don't tell me one if you don't. Yeah, I'll put it on YouTube. Go ahead, text me one right now. I'll put it out here. Um, and so anyhow, they hated the idea at first, and then I think they kind of came around to it a little bit. And well, I say that neither are in high school now, but it's a good way for me to know like who their friends are and who's who and what who they're hanging out with and whatever. Um, I just saw one of their friends in the grocery store today. He watched my video. What's up, Joey? And so anyhow, that yeah, I'm a substitute teacher. That's why. I guess what I was gonna say was like, holy shit! Do you know what it takes to be a substitute teacher? And you're like, oh, big deal. After I tell you what it is, but wait till you learn how much we make. It's insane. You need to have a college degree. You need to have a minimum. This is Clark County, at least in Nevada. I don't know if other districts are this way, but this is absolutely crazy. You need to have a college degree, an average of like a 2.7 GPA, I think it was. And I got like a 2.73, so I made it. You need to pass 2 background checks, which that's understandable, and 2 sets of fingerprints, and you learn more about how to lock down a classroom, how to not offend a child, how to do whatever. Like you learn that stuff more than like how to handle a classroom, how to communicate with the kids, how to, I'm not knocking it or whatever, but it's like, that's just the society we live in, that's what it became, was trying to like, it's so frightening. And it's, I don't know if they'd let me record. I don't really look at a lot of rules, obviously. I guess, but the thing with this job though is like, you break a rule, you don't get fired. You probably go to jail. Like any of you go show up at work drunk, I think you just get fired, and you got a funny story. If I do that, pretty sure I go to jail. I don't know. Anyhow, so yeah, the requirements are crazy to be a substitute teacher, but financially the reward's there. We make $110 a day. 100, yeah, do that math. $110 a day, for the most part, to get completely shit on. But I don't. That hasn't been my experience really, because I don't care, and so like if they don't care, I don't care. Whatever. If they want to listen to me, they can listen to me. But I never have. I'd like to record one of them. It'd be kind of fun. I go in with my own agenda, like I do with most things, and so I'll teach English, Spanish, art, auto shop, all whatever. It doesn't matter. And I'll get the so if your teachers are watching this and you don't like this, then yeah, I don't know. You don't really get to pick who's subbing for you, I guess. But anyhow, the kids like it. My agenda is, well, I really don't go in with agenda. It's kind of been the way I've lived my life. Started my business and everything else was with no plan really. I just kind of figure it out as I go and roll with the punches and whatever. And in this case, kind of feel the room. But I go in with a bit of an agenda, and that's, I guess it starts with not really, unless it's like, not, I guess I should finish that thought, not really doing what's asked of me, which is normally just a, hey, keep these kids busy and occupied with this bullshit repetitive worksheet or whatever, which I get, I understand that. And so if that's a must, then I just give them the answers and we knock that out real quick. And then I talk to them about their future and financial planning and Roth IRAs and the rule of 72 and just basic things like that. And so as I like to have some kind of little tidbit of information or fact or something in each one of these videos, the rule of 72, if you're not aware, is, and maybe I do a whole video on it or not, I'll just tell you right now. It's a rule of investing, and it essentially will tell you how long it takes your money to double. So if you take whatever interest rate that you are anticipating, so if you're crazy and you're in crypto and you're day trading crypto and you think you can make 10% a day, it's going to take you 7.2 days to double your money. That's it. But you could lose it all tomorrow. That's just the way crypto is right now. That's a whole other video. That world is bananas right now. It's a roller coaster. But the stock market is average 10% over its eternity. And so at 10%, it'll take you 7.2 years for your money to double. If you have $100,000 invested right now, you'll have $200,000 in 7.2 years at 10%. And then you'll have 400,000 in 14 and a half years, and so on and so on and so on. And so I'll teach them about that, and I'll start with, they're all 16, 17, 18 or whatever. Who wants to have $5 million tax-free at age 59? And then you get some of their attention. And this is what's crazy is I'm not talking about conjugating a verb in Spanish or something like that they don't give a shit about. Talk about their financial freedom. And as I'm standing in front of them at 50 years old, retired, and I'll get, if there's 30 kids in the class, maybe on average 5, 10 maybe will engage, and the rest are just buried in their phones or on their laptops or whatever. So it's which is fine. I can manage that conversation better and be more interactive, and just like I said on this for this YouTube thing, for me is I'm squinting because I'm trying to see, this is 12 minutes, is, if I can inspire somebody and I can hold myself accountable and I could leave a record for my kids and loved ones, and that's what it's about for me. In the classroom, being able to get through to just one kid is, it's awesome. It feels so good. I've had kids, I live in a little town, there's 15,000 people in our town, and I've had kids yell across the street from me, they call me Mr. Stuart. I never put my last name on there because when I go in there and they don't know me, I don't need them to know that I'm my kid's dad, let them figure that out over time or whatever. But so they, Mr. Stewart, I just opened a Roth IRA. And I'm like, hell yeah, that's awesome. So I'll teach them about starting a Roth IRA, and I'll do the calculator with them, on the big screen in the classroom. And so it's informative, it's good, it has an impact. You have to have a job to have a Roth IRA, so I'll kind of start with that sometimes, like, hey, who here has a job? What do you do? How much you make? What do you, that kind of thing. And so I'll teach them about, a lot of these kids got a lot of hustle. Not a lot. Some of these kids have a lot of hustle, and they have their own businesses already. And I'll bet that social media, YouTube and TikTok and all that is a big influence on that, because unfortunately they see all these other people that get rich quick, and it's not that that's not possible, because it clearly is. It happens, but it's not the norm, and it's not reliable, and there's no guarantees there. So, but if it creates the drive, then that's great, and it's good, and so yeah, to see that in some of these kids is really refreshing, and I love that. But the one thing that I feel is definitely missing, I realized from my professional experience, is I told you it's going to be all over the place. Just this world lacks initiative. People do not take initiative. I feel like if there's one trait that you can apply in your life that will advance you more than anything, and I could be totally wrong, but I think it's taking initiative. If you do something in your job that's not asked of you, you will stand out so much because people don't do it. They just don't do it. They'll do the absolute minimum. They'll get by with as little as possible, as little effort, as little conflict, as whatever. And that's, yeah, and then you just kind of stay where you're at. And if you're doing that extra little bit or taking the initiative, you definitely stand out, whether that's with a customer, with your boss, with your coworkers, whatever. It's taking initiative is definitely something that I just didn't see that much of. It's not that I didn't see it, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, when I was delivering papers as a kid with my neighbor, like I would take them and send them up on the mat, you know what I mean, rather than throwing them in the bush or whatever, like, because I knew that little bit got more tips, you know, and because that's the way it worked. You, as a paper boy, when, holy crap, this was in the 80s. Yeah, it was probably mid 80s or something like that. Yeah, you would go get the papers, fold them up, put them in a bag if it was raining, or put a rubber band around them and go deliver them and drop them off. And a lot of people would just throw them in the driveway or something. So anyhow, that's the initiative I'm talking about. And if I'm really just gonna be random, I will say that so I never did that myself. I never had a paper route myself. This is the other piece of like my history for my grandkids and great grandkids to know. Anyhow, but I always had something. My parents a few years ago gave me this giant barrel full of all this crap that was at our house that I had when I was a kid. One of them was this old photo album, and photo albums used to not be on your iPhone. They used to be in a big book with these little sticky pages and these clear cellophane that go over them to protect the photos. But my photo album didn't have photos in it. What it had was stickers. And so I saved all my stickers in there, like with the back still on them from whatever it was. I mean, I even had stickers from fruit. So stupid. I don't know. I was in second grade or third grade or something like that. But point being is, they weren't just stickers. They were organized, and I'm not OCD or organized in any capacity at all, but they were organized in a fashion by value. And so there was, the first section was 5 cents, and then 10 cents, and then 25 cents, and then there was the full bumper stickers of the Oakland Athletics or whatever it was I had were like $1 or something like that, or I love San Francisco or something because that's from the Bay Area. I was selling them to the neighbor kids. I had a little sticker club that I created underneath our stairs of our front porch at our house, and I would sell them to the kids. And it was just kind of like, it jogged my memory that I'm like, holy crap, I've always been like entrepreneurial or kind of hustler or something. And and I think that comes, thank you, Mom and Dad, because I never got shit. Every time we go to the grocery store or something, I try to get a Hot Wheels or something, the answer to get is, Mom, can I get this? We'll see. We'll see. My parents are both European immigrants. My mom from Norway, my dad from the Netherlands, and they both came over in their 20s with nothing. And so, you know, they built an amazing life for themselves and for me and my sister, and you know, very appreciative of that. But it instilled values for sure, and I think that's what gave me the hustle. It wasn't in school. I sucked ass in school. That's a whole other story. But I got I effectively failed out of high school, but I didn't. I graduated, and I somehow got into college. Thank you, UNLV. My counselor, when I was my senior year, I had a 1.7 something GPA is what I graduated with. I was at the very bottom of our class. The 3 kids underneath me didn't graduate, which says something too about the times. It's like now I think it's like a third of the class doesn't graduate or something crazy, depending on what market you're in. But the counselor turned my 2 Fs in my 2 English classes that I'd failed previously in my high school years to D minuses, so I could graduate. And then I wrote letters and got letters of recommendation because I wasn't a bad kid. I just hated school. And so anyhow, yeah, I graduated. I knew I'd get sidetracked. Like, what was I talking about? Jobs and stuff. Yeah, but I always worked. Always worked. And I always had that hustle. That's right. But but not in school. I sold golf balls on the golf course. I'd go collect them. And that was like the dopamine hit that kids get right now for a like or whatever or something. I would akin that to when I would go to that field in Diablo Country Club, and I knew the places where they'd shank a ball or slice into this field or something like that, or into somebody's house or whatever. And I would see a golf ball there, like, oh man, like it like physiologically, it would change in me because I would sell them. The good balls were like the Ultras and Slazengers. This is how long ago that was. And those would sell like 50 cents a piece, but otherwise they're 3 for $1. And I'd sit out there all day Saturday and Sunday if I didn't sell them, almost every weekend, I think. I don't know. I put them in my little egg crates, and and I'd sell golf balls, and I'd make my own money. And that's because my parents wouldn't give me everything I wanted. And that's a really hard thing to do, to not do. Like when you have the financial capability to take care of your kids and give them what they want, it's so hard not to do it, which I'm sure you know if you're a parent. And but it doesn't teach them good lessons, because you don't want discomfort for them, and you don't want them to suffer. But that's what builds the character. So it's a tough situation to be in, but I feel like it's different times now. It's like that's so. It's just society. That's what we do. I mean, what these kids have now compared to what we had, it's bonkers. But anyhow, yeah, I always worked. I worked all through high school, all through college, delivering pizzas to, yeah, all sorts of stuff. I had all sorts of odd jobs in college. Anyhow, it's yeah, where is I going? I don't know. There's my background. Now maybe you know a little bit more about me. You could follow along for the rest of this rambling journey. And remember to watch me in 1.25, so it seems more normal. And yeah, it'll get better. I've got a microphone on order, so I don't have to put the camera straight in my face. And like that other video I made when I was mountain biking, talking about Boulder City, that's another category, is like why I love Boulder City. There's a lot of, this is a great little town. Anyhow, I don't know what else to talk about. What are we at? 23 minutes. Dang, sorry. But if you stuck around, I do thank you. And every day, that's what I'm doing, at least for February. We're, did I start on the 1st? I don't know. I think we're 7 days in. Yeah, I started on the 1st. So that's it. Try my button again here, see if it works. Nope.